Resentment. It's like carrying around a rock in your shoe. At first, it's just a small irritation, something you think you can ignore. But the longer you walk with it, the more it digs in, making every step uncomfortable until it feels impossible to move forward. Resentment is always tied to someone or something. Maybe it's the friend who didn't show up when you needed them, or the coworker who took credit for your idea, or even a situation where you felt overlooked or unappreciated. It shows up when we feel wronged, disrespected, or treated unfairly. But here's what makes resentment so tricky: it doesn't just stay in one place, it loops in your mind, replaying the same scene over and over, and slowly starts seeping into different parts of your life. The longer it goes unaddressed, the heavier it feels, draining your energy and coloring the way you see the world, even in aspects that aren't related to it. The key to dealing with resentment isn't to push it down or hope it disappears on its own. It's to acknowledge it, to ask yourself, what's really bothering me here? Is there some unmet need or unresolved hurt that's at the core of this feeling? Resentment, when left unchecked, can take root and impact not just your relationship with the person or situation that caused it, but also your overall well being. However, when we start exploring its message, it brings clarity and we can start letting it go. So the next time you catch yourself in that emotional loop, pause and reflect. What's the rock in your shoe and how can you take it out? The answer might just be the relief you've been looking for. Resentment can be sneaky. It doesn't always show up as full blown bitterness. Instead, it builds layer by layer. Think of it like a playlist that starts with soft beats that grow louder and heavier as you go on. Let's break it down so you can pinpoint exactly where you are on the resentment scale. Disappointment is the opening track. It's that feeling when things don't go as planned. Like, say, a much hyped vacation turns out to be just about okay. Dissatisfaction. This is when the small stuff starts getting under your skin. Like when you order fries, but they come soggy instead of crispy. You can shrug it off, but it still stings a little. Irritation. Now it's beginning to get louder. It's that nagging frustration that bubbles up when someone keeps interrupting you during a conversation, or when your streaming service buffers just as the plot thickens. Holding a grudge is when it starts to stick. Imagine a friend borrowing your favorite hoodie and returning it all stretched out and stained. You say it's fine, but you can't stop thinking about it every time you see them. Feeling betrayed is when we're going a lot deeper. This is the sting of broken trust. When a coworker throws you under the bus in a meeting, or someone close shares a secret you trusted them with. Spitefulness is finally the peak of this scale. This is when resentment takes the wheel and you're tempted to act on it. Like when someone close forgets your birthday even after you went all out for theirs, and you feel tempted to forget theirs next year. Resentment doesn't happen all at once. It sneaks up, building layer by layer. It's a normal human response, something most of us feel at some point. But it's also an emotion that weighs us down, keeping us from living as our authentic selves. Knowing where you are on this scale can help you pause, reflect, and choose a way forward that feels right for you. So, where are you today? And what's one small step that you can take to lighten the load and let it go? Resentment isn't just a mood, it's like a messy roommate who you didn't invite that has the power to crowd your mental space. But the good news, you can map it out with some self curiosity, figure out its roots, and let it go gently. Let's break this mapping down step by step. Start off by checking in. What's causing the resentment? Why am I feeling this way? Who or what is living rent free in your head? Is it that friend who always cancels last minute? Or maybe it's a vibe, like when your roommates are all hanging out and no one tells you until you stumble upon their Insta stories. Sometimes it's not about what happened, but how it made you feel left out, overlooked, undervalued, or maybe just fed up with the same old behavior. The next check in would be, how long have I been feeling this way? Is this a more recent feeling or has it been brewing for a while? Usually, resentment will simmer slowly, like watching your work go unnoticed while someone else gets all the kudos. Which current statement triggered this the most? What tipped the scale? Was it that friend who ghosted your messages for days but is super active in the group chat? Or the colleague who borrowed your food from the fridge yet again without asking? Identify what took you from I can deal to I'm so done. Next, check in. Have I felt this way in the past? Does this feel familiar? Is it a similar story, same script repeating from another time? Like, say, when someone never pays their share after a group outing, and it's been a pattern. Patterns tend to stick unless you call them out and decide you're not playing along anymore. Finally, what other emotions or sensations does this make me feel? Check in with yourself. Does resentment make you feel drained, like after a doom scroll marathon? Or does it feel tense, like waiting for exam results you kind of studied for? Notice what your body and emotions are telling you. It's your personal GPS for what's going on. Finally, it is a normal human emotion. We all feel it, but it's a heavy one and it weighs you down, keeping you from being your truest self. Mapping it will help you understand it, and understanding it will help you let it go. So take a moment to pause, reflect, and check in with these questions to understand it better in your current context.